Gentlemen, we got to talk about 2026. Now, I have a story in front of me that does work with the conversation we're about to have. Comes away of PureXbox.com, was written by Liam Doolin, posted on Tuesday at 10:45 p.m. So it was later on in the evening. Xbox says it's got a bunch of stuff it hasn't even announced yet. This is coming the way of Craig Duncan, who says that the Fable delay is no biggie. So again, I'm going to read verbatim from the report, folks, so please bear with me. It says Xbox has officially delayed the next chapter of Fable, and although this game has been pushed back to next year, Microsoft's gaming division has obviously still got plenty of other unannounced projects it's still working on behind closed doors. In the recent Xbox Game Studios update, the division's head, Craig Duncan, issued a reminder about this, noting how there's still apparently a lot in the pipeline that hasn't even been revealed just yet. Here's exactly what he had to say. And of course, I'm quoting Craig Duncan, who is the head of Xbox Games Studios. He says, "We've got a bunch of stuff we haven't announced, so obviously I spent a bunch of time with that. But yeah, we have a lot going on." So now I want to move this conversation, ladies and gentlemen, over to 2026. So by the thumbnail, you saw easily you got Fable, right? You have let's see, I did a brain fart live on the air. You got Fable, you got State of Decay 3, you got Perfect Dark, which again, is it 2026? It's certainly possible, right? But in that list of games, right, you potentially have the rumored, and I did put that in the tweet, the rumored Halo Combat Evolved remake. That is something that's apparently happening under the Unreal Engine 5. Now, Forza Horizon 6 could be a part of that. I don't think that's this year, folks. I really don't. And I've been banging the drum of the removal of Fable into next year kind of opens the door or the slot for what we've heard by several people in the games media, Tom Warren being one of them, Tom Henderson being another, that they have heard that Gears E-Day is shipping this year. Is that actually happening? I'm not sure. If that slips until next year and they replace that with the Gears of War collection, the rumored Gears of War collection, that's just another bullet in the chamber. But you also have, and again, folks, we don't know where they are in development. Contraband is another one, right? We just heard Phil Spencer talk about Everwild from Rare. We do know that Blade is currently in development. We know that Double Fine is working on a couple of projects. We talked about it yesterday. You have Obsidian working on a third project. Folks, I don't know about you, but the goosebumps have come out because 2026 Korkenstein seems to be a ridiculously stacked deck. Now, just for some context here, I don't know if this was on purpose. I don't know if this is just because they have so many studios and so many games, they actually have to eventually go somewhere. But what is 2026? Well, it is going to be a big year, and it could be the biggest year for Xbox. I originally thought for sure 2025, it can't get any bigger, could it? Well, just look at 2026, because what you have is all of the games, and again, it is room for speculation. We have no idea or any of these games launching there, but the likelihood is that at least half of them will, right? Maybe a Perfect Dark gets moved into 27. I don't know. But next year, you have a couple of anniversaries happening and a couple of really big ones. First of all, it's the 25th anniversary of the actual Xbox platform, which is monstrous. You have the 25th anniversary of Halo Combat Evolved. You have the 20th anniversary happening next year for Gears of War. So if you think about that, along with the rumored, folks, again, this is just rumors, that they're going to get a new console, the Magic Box underneath your TV, as well as the handheld next year, Korkenstein, I got to be honest with you. They seem to not only be hitting on all switches, full steam ahead, But at that point, you get from where we are currently, we're only in the second month of the year, right? We know that they are going to see extreme sales for a lot of the games going to other places for the first time, right? I don't know how many copies of Forza Horizon are going to sell, but it's the number one wish list game on PS5, so it makes sense it's going to do well. How well does Indiana Jones do? Do they release Starfield? I don't know, potentially. So you got to couple that with Nintendo Switch releases, which there's going to be quite a few, right? And then you're moving into 2026, where at this point, they're full on third party publisher. They have now officially become the biggest publisher in gaming by just leaps and bounds. And they're rolling into a year where they're going to have a redonkulous amount of games and potentially 2 new consoles. Let's talk about Xbox in 2026.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, we don't even know, like you said, what's coming up. But I mean, let's just take a look. I mean, we don't know what the next, the last 6 months of the year is going to hold. But for 2026, I mean, we still have Perfect Dark to find out. We still have Stated K3. We still have Everwild. We still have Gears of War E-Day. This is, of course, was announced, last year at the showcase, things like that. Clockwork Revolution. There's so much on the plate. I mean, even if they took 2 away from that, you still have a major AAA first party title releasing pretty much every 3 months, which is the cadence that, Xbox originally wanted for the releases. There's still so much, and we still have a June showcase coming up. And we still
Crazy.
have the TGAs, which are going to have announcements. And we still have Tokyo Game Show.
And can I add one more?
Yeah, yeah.
It hasn't been announced, but Ecstasies has already leaked it. If you didn't know who Ecstasies is, please follow this guy. Super connected. YouTube from Spain. Phenomenal human. There is apparently a third-party Xbox partner event happening in March.
Yes, the partner preview pro. Yeah, they usually do that every March. Yeah, I think that's where we might see the Final Fantasy stuff coming out. That makes sense for Square Enix. So yeah, there's a lot that we still don't know and we still don't have, but I mean, we'll see what happens for the end of the year. Especially with the new hardware coming out. I mean, the handheld's been rumored for a while. Who knows? That could be maybe a holiday release this year. It depends how far they are with it. Could be a holiday release next year. To kind of coincide with if they are doing the next gen console. Who knows? But I mean, there's definitely one thing you can't deny that Xbox is cooking. As an Xbox, they're showing more and more reasons why Xbox should be your platform as a gamer. Because you're getting your stuff everywhere. Play Anywhere is starting to take more and more shape. It's starting to show in more and more games. I think Sega's been using it for the last few games that they've released, that they are Play Anywhere titles. More and more people are buying into, or more developers and industry people are buying it. I mean, that's why GDC, they're gonna have that whole, they've been talking about it, the Xbox Play Anywhere. I mean, even Tom Warren had a tweet a while back that people might not remember, where he said this will make sense in a few more weeks, when it was talking about Xbox Play Anywhere. And that might be because, that's where Xbox is going. They're trying to show consumers you can play on cloud, you can play on mobile, you can play on console, you can play on PC. Pretty soon, hopefully, maybe a handheld. We haven't heard anything yet about it. Maybe a handheld. They want to be everywhere and anywhere. And if you can do that with Xbox, you should be it's showing more like why you should be an Xbox consumer. So 2026, you're not going to lose buying into the Xbox ecosystem, buying into the Xbox platform. You aren't going to lose right now. It's just that simple. That may get clipped and people talking about it, but I don't, I don't care. I really don't. You can't lose as an Xbox gamer right now because you are getting the games. You may be getting new systems. Game Pass just keeps on giving more than any of the other subscription services. People can console war all they want, but I found a lot more value for what I'm getting out of Xbox and I'm on all 4 platforms. I'm on, I have a Switch, I have a PlayStation 5, I have a pretty decent PC, and I have an Xbox. And the most value, the most bang for my buck that I'm getting as somebody that's on every system is Xbox.
I mean, you can't argue that. I mean, again, just for some shits and giggles here, folks. You pay what do you pay per year? Was it $240? You know, is that before tax? Let's just say for shits and giggles, $250 if you pay full boat for Game Pass. If you pay full boat for Game Pass, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to call you a name or anything. I would say, please, as your friend, go check out cdkeys.com. I'll leave it at that. Go search cdkeys.com. You win even more. But if we are just being fair, if it was just the 4 games I have in the thumbnail, Perfect Dark, State of Decay, Halo, and Fable, let's just say that is all that's happening in 2026. And you buy these games, each one of these games are probably going to have a $100 edition, right? There's going to be some sort of a $30 upgrade that you're going to be able to get a little cheaper through Game Pass for Perfect Dark for additional missions, right? It's the new digital thing. Right? It's the new horse armor, if you will, gentlemen. And you know something? I'm okay with it. You get early access, you get an outfit, you get a couple of guns. It's fine. And if you're playing through Game Pass, you're still supporting the dev, quote unquote. You know, that's the thing, support the dev. And Xbox is still making money if that means anything to you. I just get Game Pass because I'm a retired guy and it works for my budget. So it's awesome. If it was just those 4 games, gentlemen, you already won, right? Because that's 4 first party games, potentially 1 per quarter, and that is way more than the $240 you're spending if you spend $240. But when you add additional things like Forza Horizon 6, like Everwild, you know, when is Clockwork Revolution releasing? That's another one I totally forgot about. How about this one? What about Contraband? When is that coming out? That I don't know if that's this year. Maybe it's a shadow drop. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's, let them cook. It's next year. That's just more games that we're going to have to figure out what. There's going to come a point for us, Belvedere, where we're going to look at the list of games. We're going to be like, you know what? F you, Xbox, because now I don't know what to do with myself. Last time I checked, there are only 24 hours in the day. I only have 2 pairs. I have a pair of hands. Let's say 2 pairs of hands. That would have been great. I have a pair of hands and not enough time in the day to enjoy gaming because I'm podcasting, I'm working out, and I'm also taking care of the house while Mrs. Boom is working. So that my time is very spared. It's sparing. So with that said, though, let's talk 2026 now. Before we actually do, let me just catch up, and thanks to you because there was a couple of super chats that I did not see. That for some reason the software did not pick up. So we have one here from Jay Slay. Now, Jay, apologies, brother. I didn't see it on my end, but thank you so much for the very generous $2 super chat. It says, "What's up, Boom? Have you seen the Terminator 2D trailer?" Bro, I have watched that like 3 or 4 times. That gave me some old school, like Super NES feels. Do you remember? And I'm old, folks. You're probably not going to remember this. It's okay. Does anyone in the class remember RoboCop versus the Terminator that came on the Super Nintendo? It came in a black hard case cover. I don't have it anymore. I'm so mad that I never kept that. It was because you played as RoboCop versus the Terminators. A phenomenal game. That is the vibes that I got from this. It is a day one buy for me. I'm probably going to buy it on the Switch and on the Xbox because I want to support this dev. I want more of this. So we have other super chats here. So let me just get to those. We have one from Dead Pixel drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "I'm saying it next year. We get the rumored Wu-Tang. Oh my God, the Wu-Tang Clan. You know what's interesting? Did any? Because of course I'm in New York. They're going on tour, like a farewell tour this summer. I don't know if anyone saw that. I mean, look, I'm not saying that their final farewell tour is gonna somehow work into the release. It would be kind of freaking dope if they did, because obviously I wouldn't mind going to see them, and I certainly wouldn't mind getting their game this year. But that's another one I totally forgot about, the Wu-Tang Clan game, and that they're working on that right freaking now. Thank you so much for the reminder, brother. Super appreciate it. BT Maverick 707 drops a very generous $5 super chat. BT goes on to say, there's nothing stopping Xbox from backporting their hybrid OS to this current gen's hardware, giving games more access to PC stores, Steam, Epic, and GOG, or Good Old Games. I mean, listen, I don't remember who said it, and I'm so sorry I didn't. Yesterday in the chat for Meet with Me and See Money, the chat member mentioned that he thought, and I completely went right over my mohawk, that this is going to be where they show off the OS that is the OS that looks like your console, but on everything else. When you put on your phone, you turn on your tablet, you turn on your TV, you turn on your computer, it's all going to be this one OS to rule them all. That makes a lot of sense to why they would show up at GDC and talk about it. Makes a lot of sense. I had a theory on the back end of that of course they're going to launch this OS, and it's going to be what we see in our console is kind of what I want to see everywhere else, and I think I'm not the only one that says that. So you're familiar with it. One UI, just the same thing everywhere. But this is GDC. We know they're working on their own handheld. I'm not suggesting it's going to be there, because that would be crazy. But they do have to show this thing working on something, right? Like, it makes sense. What is that something? Are they actually going to show a piece of freaking hardware there? I don't know. But if they do, rest assured, we will be reporting on that as soon as that drops. We have here Thanaros, who's been a channel member, folks. Jesus Christmas, this is crazy. 64 months. Thanaros, brother, that is crazy generous and kind of you. He says, TGIF indeed. I love getting here. Not just stuff for me, because I'm retired. I'm happy to get here so Mrs. Boom could recharge her batteries over the weekend, because it's always about her. But let me bring this back into, of course, talking about gaming. Fuzzy Belvedere, let's talk 2026, because you are still standing on this one square that says that you think Forza Horizon is this year. And you know what? I'm not going to push you off the square, right? You might be onto something. And it would be pretty wild that Forza Horizon 5 launches on PlayStation and Xbox gamers get Forza Horizon 6 in the same year. That would be kind of crazy. But let's just say, for shits and giggles, that it moves into 26. I don't know when first of all, with the amount of games that we discussed openly, that's probably one per month. And I don't know if they actually do that, because then everyone's eating each other's lunch, so to speak.
Yeah.
Some of those games are big, but man, 2025 is already a stacked deck. It looks like it's going to be a banner year for Xbox. Good points of view from everybody in the chat and on the panel. I think it's in the bag, so to speak. Publisher of the year, like that's easy for them to win Publisher of the Year. But when you look to 2026, dude, bro, that's just crazy. Let's get your thoughts, man.
Yeah, right now our year is pretty stacked, but it's going to be even more heavy weighted come 2026. Like, Everwild, I think, stands a chance of being this year. We'll see if it's shown at Gamescom or if it's shown at the June showcase. I think it's closer than people probably think. There's still Perfect Dark. I think Perfect Dark winds up being 2026. State of Decay 3, probably 2026. Elder Scrolls 6, we'll see. I kind of think it's 26, but we'll see if it gets pushed to 27. But there's a couple other things. With Bethesda, they also have their online group, or I guess ZeniMax Online. I'm pretty sure they're working on something, and rumor has it it's not what do you call it, Starfield Online kind of thing. It's something else. We'll see if it's a licensed IP or if it's something completely unexpected. I'm kind of hoping they go for a different genre, since they already have high fantasy, they already have sci-fi or space, they already have post-apocalyptical. Let's see if we can see something along the lines of like Cyberpunk, or like a what's the other one? I forget the other movie, but yeah, for the most part, have something in that type of genre. Oh, Blade Runner, that's what it is. Have something, with that timeline. We'll still see how far along Machine Games is between. They're supposed to be working on two more. I forgot
about those two. Jesus, man.
They're working on two more, Indiana Jones. Plus, we also have the expansion, or the DLC. There's another expansion being talked about probably later on this year for Diablo. There's that. Is it Everywhere? No, because Everywhere I think is the other game from Rocket Boy. But there's that studio that was made by Activision that, it's probably been incubated for at least a year or two. So we'll see if we get to see what their game is for that year. I like how people still remember the Wu-Tang game, which I'm looking forward to. Hopefully that either gets shown this year or possibly stealth drop this year. But if not, next year. Replace, I know, is not first party, but it's already been announced for next year. Smaller developer. They're definitely working as hard as they can. Silk Song is another one, not first party, but still within the day and date on Game Pass. We also have, like you were saying, with Forza Horizon, I think we get to see 6 this year. I don't know if we get it this year. The number 6 and 26 seems to, I think, will go hand in hand kind of thing. But we also have Ninja Theory. They have 2 projects, one of them being Project Mara.
Oh my God, dude, I totally freaking forgot about that. Holy shit, that's crazy.
So they also have, I think they got approved for Hellblade 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they're working on something, I think, totally different in between that. So we'll see how far along that is. But I think we'll see something or hear something about Project Mara within this year, possibly for next year. We know Obsidian has been churning out games on a regular basis. So they already have Outer Worlds 2 for this year. I don't know how long or how far along they would be on that other project, or if it's if there's a second project on top of that, with it being something in the Fallout universe. But they had this original Xbox One launch pitch for a game called Stormlands. So maybe that is one that they're working on, or they could be working on a Grounded 2 at this point. But they'll more than likely have something for next year as well. When it came to, and I know you made mention of it earlier, but you also have Double Fine. And Double Fine has at least 2 known projects, or let's say 2 within reasonably known projects.
I think they're
one of them being
on
that
2.
Kiln.
Yes.
And then the other one, I don't think is Psychonauts 3. I think it is what's the one with Jack Black? Brutal Legend 2.
Brutal Legends 2 would be freaking amazing. Did anyone ever play that? Oh my God, that game was freaking amazing. It's interestingly enough, when I was going through my collectibles, I had gotten rid of a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. I found that the collector's edition that I bought, I forgot I had this. I actually have the vinyl for Brutal Legend in my collection of vinyls. Dude, that's freaking awesome, bro. I forgot. Isn't it crazy that we just keep talking and more games keep popping out of the hat and like, wait, hold on a second. What is happening here? But Xbox is dying, gentlemen. I want you to know that. I want to make sure that is in the hashtag Xbox not better.
They're the longest living or surviving zombie ever, because they're always dead as far as according to the gaming media or PlayStation fans. So it is what it is. But in Exile, we know about Clockwork. I keep on wanting to say Clockwork Orange. Clockwork Revolution is more than likely going to be next year if it doesn't land at the tail end of this year. I think they probably give them a little bit more time. But they also have another project that they're working on, whether it be another Wasteland or it winds up being possibly a remaster or a reworking of the earlier Fallouts. We'll see if that's in the cards. But there's just so many games. There were so many game studios, and I know I'm probably missing about another 5 studios that have multiple teams. Like Blade, I still think might be a 2027 deal, but
that makes sense.
They're still working on their game. There's more studios that have multiple teams. Like Blizzard definitely has something that they're going to put together between now and possibly 2027 that will be in the StarCraft universe, more than likely. We'll see. And Marvel Rivals has caused the Overwatch team to kind of reevaluate some things, and now they'll definitely be doubling down on adding more content and possibly looking at that single player aspect as far as just more than quick story content, and see where they go from there. But there's just so many games, so many studios, so many teams working on games between now and the launch of the next Xbox, which I still have a gut feeling we see something at the at the Game Awards this year for the hardware that will possibly be coming holiday next year. So I think we do see a next gen console, or at least at that point, possibly a handheld. We will see the Xbox OS later on this year, where you can install it or install it on an already owned Steam Deck, or a ROG Ally or Legion Go or MSI Claw or any of the other small or lesser known handheld PCs out there. Or if you want to take and build a regular PC but run it as a Xbox console with all the bells and whistles. Shout out to Everborn Saga is kind of doing something like that. Although
he's running a build like that. Yep.
Although I think he's running Steam with another layer that makes it look like Xbox.
Yeah,
you can
I
use the
believe it's
Xbox
called
controller.
Big Picture Mode. He does that's what he does with it. Yeah.
Yeah, but with the Xbox OS being, tested, and we'll see more of it more than likely around the June showcase, if not sooner, possibly even at GDC, along with the AI stuff. Yeah, they got a lot of stuff cooking, and I would say prepare for 2026 to be that all-out year. 25 years of Xbox. Yeah, I think they're going to have at least another 25 more, despite what people say as far as hardware. But 26 is going to be a big year for them. So we'll see.